It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 9 of The Walking Dead. This is going to be my review to the premiere episode of Season 9, 901, which was called A New Beginning. Now, before I actually jump into this review, I want to say I'm going to try to keep my reviews to around 6 to 7 minutes. I'm going to try to make them short because most of you don't really want to sit through a long review anyway, so I'll just keep it very brief. Just some high-level stuff and some things that I do want to highlight, but I'll try to keep it very, very short. So with that said, let's jump right into this review. Now, overall, I absolutely loved this episode for a premiere episode, and also coming back into The Walking Dead and, a new showrunner being introduced and everything. This was a great episode. I mean, there was a few things that they could have done better, but overall, I absolutely loved this episode, and I just feel like not only do we get some more interesting stories, but also we get an integrated story, and also we get some more organic relationships and conversations between different characters. Now, going into 4 main conversations that I absolutely enjoyed. The first one was between Michonne, Judith, and Rick. At the very beginning, it was like the first scene of the episode. I absolutely loved it. It was just so realistic and genuine, really awesome to see. Just to see the relationship that the family has and to hear them talk, it was amazing. And of course, Judith was adorable in the scene. But the other scene that I do want to mention is the scene between Carol and Ezekiel, when they're on horseback, when Ezekiel makes the proposal. I absolutely love that scene. That was one of the scenes where it was just so genuine again, and it was done so perfectly that you just fell in love with the way those characters reacted to one another. So I absolutely loved it. The third one was between Daryl and Rick, when Daryl was saying that he doesn't want to lead the Saviors anymore and all of that. Absolutely loved it. I really enjoyed that Daryl talks a lot in this episode. I'm sure that's going to be the start of more things to come from Daryl. And, I was absolutely blown away by Daryl's story and his conversations with everyone in this episode. Absolutely loved it. But the one thing that I do want to highlight is that I absolutely agree with Daryl and what he said to Rick. That it's just a matter of time before things just go bad again. And it's not like we can just provide to them all the time. There needs to be things coming from all communities. We all need to pitch in. It's not like just because they surrendered and the war is over doesn't mean that we should just give them all of these benefits and all that. Absolutely agree with that. And also, the one thing that was very kind of interesting to see, it was subtle, but when Daryl says that he wants to go back, but not to Alexandria, but go back to Hilltop, that highlights 2 things. One is he even mentioned he wants to go back to see Maggie and the baby and everything, so it just shows that he has the connection with Maggie and the babies. But also, it just shows that Daryl does not agree with Rick, and he's siding with Maggie on this ordeal that's happening. So I absolutely love that. It was subtle, but it was definitely there. The last conversation that I absolutely enjoyed was between Carol and Daryl when they were talking about Ezekiel, the king, and all of that. Loved Daryl's reaction to Carol saying that Ezekiel proposed to her. So all of that was great. Also loved the discussion between Michonne and Rick in bed. Now, that I didn't really include as part of the 4 conversations because it was very short. But since I'm already 5 minutes in, I'm just going to go through some of the points that I highlighted here. The intro I mentioned, I absolutely loved the discussion between Michonne, Judith, and Rick, and how they're showing that the sanctuary is suffering and everything, and that Daryl is in charge. Absolutely love that. Them going to get the artifacts, the mission to DC, and where Ezekiel almost dies. Absolutely loved that whole thing. Even though I knew it was coming, I knew what was happening. I didn't know Ezekiel was going to fall, but it was nerve-wracking to watch. 2 small nitpicks about this part. One is that they skipped the mission to DC, and their trip to DC was very brief. That is one small problem. They could have explored that a bit more. The second is they should have brought the heavy artifacts last. So that's just a small thing. But then, of course, we have them going back, seeing the bridge collapsed and everything. Absolutely love that because it not only connects to the next episode, but it's also, I guess, part of the bigger story that's coming up. So absolutely love that. They're highlighting that and they're putting all of these pieces in so smartly. But Of course, when they try to go back from the different route, we have the wagons getting stuck in mud, and of course the herd gets there, and we end up seeing Ken try to go back to save the horse and ends up getting bit. Absolutely love that, but the thing with Ken's death is that the death itself wasn't really supposed to be shocking itself. It was everything else, basically the domino effect from this death, that's most interesting, that's most exciting. But you know, the other thing that I do have a problem with is a small thing, but the way that the kid got kicked by the horse, it was just done so quickly, and they could have brushed that up a little bit. But then of course we do have the death itself. We have them going back to Hilltop, Maggie telling the parents and everything to Errol and Tammy about what happened. Absolutely love that conversation. I think that's gotta be one of the most powerful scenes that we've seen. Putting the Walking Dead or the zombie context out of it, just that whole conversation was just so powerful, and I absolutely loved it. And then of course at the funeral, the Gregory speech, absolutely loved the speech, but like I said in my reaction, it's coming from such a pathetic guy. Such a beautiful speech by such a pathetic guy, but also at the same time, what they're building with Gregory, of course, paid off at the end. But then the other thing that I want to talk about is Rick, Daryl, and Michonne going to the sanctuary, seeing the message on the wall, the conversation between Daryl and Rick. I talked about all of that, but I absolutely loved how they are showing the sanctuary and that not everyone is on Rick's side, but there are people that do respect him, so I absolutely love that. But there's one scene when Rick is talking to Michonne in bed that I do want to mention. He says they don't want Negan, they want food. And I think that's absolutely true. That's a pretty accurate representation of the whole ordeal at the sanctuary. But going to Rick and Michonne's relationship, just quickly want to say this. Their relationship seems so much more organic now. I was actually originally not for the idea of them being together, but it just feels so organic now, so it just makes sense. I didn't have that reaction before, but now seeing how organic their relationship is, it kind of works. And of course, at the end, we have Gregory's assassination attempt, and obviously that leading to his execution. So I loved how they put that together and how that final outcome kind of came about, because of course for comic readers we knew it was coming, but I loved how they brought it to life in the show. The other thing that I forgot to mention is talking about Maggie and her leadership. After the conversation she had with Tammy, her whole kind of perception towards dealing with the saviors and helping them changed. Before, when even they were at the museum, she was very much for the idea of helping the sanctuary and saviors. But then afterwards, we do see that she's not gonna just give them stuff. She wants something in return. She's making a deal with them. And I absolutely love that change. And I feel like I agree with her. Some parts of it, it's a bit harsh, but overall, I agree with what she's saying. But that's basically it for my review. This was longer than I anticipated. I'll try to keep these as short as possible. I wanted to go for 6 minutes, 7 minutes, but it's like 8 minutes, I think, putting everything together. But that's basically it. That's it for my review. Absolutely loved the episode. I think Walking Dead is back, baby. But other than that, definitely check out the upload schedule for the channel to see what's coming up. Tomorrow I will be putting out the prediction for the next episode, and I might do a discussion video later tonight or tomorrow night as well for the first episode. But I'll let you guys know in the Facebook page of the channel, so go like and follow it if you want to stay updated about when we're going to release live discussions. But that's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads. Like and follow the Facebook page of this channel to join our community. And check out the upload schedule to learn more about daily uploads.